This video is about Thor navigates Bifrost until ice giant blocks path. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. Part 1, The Bridge of Asgard. In the realm of Asgard, where the great halls of the East shimmered beneath the eternal light of the gods, the air was charged with an unsettling tension. Whispers of an impending war echoed within the stone walls, carrying tales of the treacherous ice giants plotting against the peace of the Nine Realms. Among the gods, none bore the weight of impending conflict like Thor, the god of thunder, son of Odin. Thor stood upon the majestic Bifrost, the shimmering rainbow bridge that linked Midgard, the realm of mortals, to Asgard. His golden hair danced in the wind as he gazed into the horizon, where the colors of the Bifrost melted into the clear sky. With Mjolnir, his enchanted hammer, clutched firmly in hand, he prepared to navigate this path, guided by his duty to protect both gods and men. Thor called Heimdall, the all-seeing guardian of the Bifrost, his voice echoing through the air. He emerged from the shadows, his golden eyes piercing the dimness of the bridge. A dark shadow looms from Jotunheim. The ice giants stow with malice. They seek to invade Asgard. I will not allow them to breach our realm, Thor replied, determination igniting his spirit. I shall journey to Midgard and rally the warriors, for we are the shield that guards against the darkness. Beware, mighty Thor, Heimdall warned, his expression grave. The ice giants have crafted a fearsome blockade of glaciers, prepared to ensnare any who venture close. The king, Thrym, is ruthless and cunning. Then I shall cut through their icy heart, Thor proclaimed, raising Mjolnir high. Let the winds of fate guide me, for I am the storm that shall not be quelled. With that, Thor stepped onto the Bifrost, its colors swirling in response to his presence. The bridge hung beneath him, a living entity that connected realms with vibrant energy. He focused on his destination, feeling the pulse of the universe around him. The bridge trembled underfoot as he surged forward, casting aside any doubt. As he neared the end of the Bifrost, the air grew colder, a bitter chill seeping into his bones. The once vibrant colors dulled, giving way to the icy breath of Jotunheim. Suddenly, the shimmering expanse of Bifrost darkened, and a cacophony of rumbling echoed through the skies. Thor's heart raced. The ice giants had begun their assault. From the depths of the chilling shadows, a colossal glacier emerged, imposing like a fortress. It loomed before the bridge, a labyrinthine structure of frozen spikes and crevices that seemed to stretch into infinity. Thor frowned, realizing that the path was blocked. Heimdall, what trickery is this? It is Thrym's doing. He has summoned his kin to create a blockade of frost fortress that shall hold you in your tracks. You must be cautious, Heimdall warned, his voice steady despite the urgency. Thor's eyes narrowed, the fire of battle igniting within him. He had faced many monsters, but none were as cold as the ice giants. Their hearts were dark, filled with the chill of betrayal and vengeance. Then I shall carve a path through their ice and bring them justice. Thunder crackled in the heavens as Thor summoned the storm within himself. He wielded Mjolnir with a fierce grip, feeling its weight an extension of his very soul. With a wild roar, he held the hammer, summoning bolts of lightning that danced across the sky and struck the glacier with a deafening explosion. The ice shattered, sending shards flying like glistening arrows. But as the debris fell, a chilling laughter echoed from within the fortress. The ice giants, colossal beasts of frost and fury, emerged from the wreckage. Their eyes were as blue as glacial depths, and their skin shimmered like a frozen sea. Foolish god, bellowed Thrym, his voice deep and thunderous. You dare step into my domain. This realm is mine to command, and the Aesir shall fall before my might. I will not yield to your tyranny, Thrym. Thor shouted back, his voice ringing with defiance. I will bring your chaos to an end. With a swift motion, Thor charged forward, and Mjolnir crackling with divine energy. He leaped into the fray, the air around him alight with the power of thunder. The ice giants roared and surged forward, their massive frames colliding like titans. As Thor struck the first giant, a resounding boom echoed, shaking the very foundations of the ice fortress. The blow sent ripples through the glacier, but the giant barely stumbled. It retaliated with a swing of its massive fist, aiming to crush the god beneath its weight. Thor dodged with agility born of countless battles, countering with a swing of Mjolnir that sent shockwaves reverberating through the ice. Each clash of hammer against Frost birthed a chorus of thunder, a symphony of chaos that filled the air. The giants advanced, relentless, their icy breath fogging the air around them. Fight, Thor, fight, the voice called. It was Sif, the warrior goddess, her fierce spirit burning bright as she joined the fray. Together we shall carve this path for honor and glory. Thor felt a surge of hope as Sif fought by his side, her blade glinting as it danced through the frigid air. They were two forces of nature, a tempest against a blizzard, striking down the giants with unyielding valor. "Watch your flank," she shouted as a giant swung its club toward Thor. With a swift movement, Sif intercepted the blow, her strength bolstering Thor's resolve. He nodded, gratitude swelling in his heart. But the tide of battle shifted as more giants emerged from the depths of the glacier, their massive forms pouring like a tide of ice. Thor's heart sank as he realized the overwhelming odds against them. "We must retreat," Sif shouted, a glimmer of worry flashing in her eyes. "We cannot hold them alone." "No, Sif, we cannot back down," Thor insisted, his voice filled with the weight of his destiny. "We must push forward, for every soul in Asgard, for the balance of the realms. We fight." With ferocity igniting their spirits, Thor and Sif rallied the remaining warriors who had followed Thor through the Bifrost. They stood together, united against the icy onslaught, a formidable wall of valor against the chaos of the ice giants. Feeling the thunder within him rise, Thor raised Mjolnir and unleashed a storm, striking down the nearest giant. The freezing winds howled in defiance, and the skies crackled with energy. Each swing of Mjolnir sent shards of ice flying, and with every fallen giant, their resolve grew stronger. But it was not without cost. The battle raged on, and soon Thor found himself surrounded. One giant lunged at him, its icy breath chilling to the core. He parried a strike but stumbled, the bitter cold seeping into his spirit. "Thor!" Sif cried out, her voice filled with urgency as she fought valiantly, but the odds were insurmountable. Just as despair threatened to take root, a flicker of hope ignited within Thor's heart. It was the spirit of the storm, his birthright, calling him to rise above the cold. With a roar that echoed through the realms, Thor embraced the tempest within, summoning a maelstrom of lightning that surged from Mjolnir. It erupted in blinding brilliance, scattering the giants and illuminating the dark fortress. "Together!" Thor shouted, rallying his warriors, their spirits ignited by the might of the storm. They surged forward, striking as one, a force of nature against the icy tide. But as they pressed deeper into the glacier, a chilling realization washed over Thor. The ice giants were not merely defending their realm, they were guarding something far greater, something that threatened the very fabric of existence. "Stand firm!" Sif shouted, her voice cutting through the howl of the wind. "We fight for honor, for Asgard." And so, with the storm raging both inside and out, Thor pressed onward, determined to uncover the truth behind Thrym's dark designs. Little did he know that fate had woven a tapestry of tragedy and honor, and the confrontation with the ice giants would become a legend sung for ages. The battle was only beginning, and destiny awaited, shrouded in the depths of ice and shadow, whispering promises of trials yet to come. And as the thunder roared, Thor's heart beat as one with the storm, ready to face the trials that the gods had set before him. Ashash Batu, the frozen wrath. The air crackled with tension as the storm within Thor surged, melding with the tempest of lightning unleashed by Mjolnir. The ice giants, with their sinew bodies clothed in frost, retreated momentarily, their eyes narrowing in disbelief. But Thrym, their towering king, was relentless. "Fools," the king bellowed, his voice a deep rumble akin to an avalanche. "You believe you can fight back the tide? You are but a spark against the eternal winter. Then let us ignite a fire." Thor roared back, his spirit unyielding. He could feel the warmth of Sif beside him, her fierce gaze matching his own. Together, they were a beacon of defiance against the encroaching darkness. As the two champions charged, the warriors rallied around them, emboldened by the thunderous call of their god. The icy fortress that had once seemed insurmountable began to tremble, a clear sign of the battle ere shifting tides. Thor swung Mjolnir with unyielding strength, each strike sending shockwaves through the ice, forcing the giants back. Yet, for every giant felled, two more emerged from the depths of the glacier, laughter echoing in the chilling winds. They were relentless, their icy breath freezing the very air around them, and Thor felt the burden of their numbers weigh heavily on his shoulders. "Look out!" Sif shouted, her warning piercing through the chaos. A massive fist swung toward Thor, aiming to crush him within its frozen grasp. He sidestepped with practiced agility, but the blow sent a tremor through the ground, knocking several warriors off their feet. Regaining his balance, Thor felt the rush of adrenaline coursing through him. "We must push deeper," he commanded, rallying the remaining forces. "For Asgard, for every realm under the stars." With a rallying cry, they surged forward, carving a path through the giant ranks. Sif fought valiantly at Thor's side, her blade a silver flash amidst the snow and ice. Together, they struck with precision, their movements synchronized like a dance of thunder and lightning. But the ice giants were not mere brutes, they were cunning and fierce, and Thrym had commanded their loyalty through fear and malice. One giant, encased in armor of ice, charged towards Sif with a roar, swinging a massive club that could split stone. Thor leapt to intercept, but arrived just as the club descended, the impact sending a shockwave that rattled the very core of his being. "Stay strong, Thor," Sif cried out as she ducked beneath the swinging arm, countering with a slash that caught the giant's flesh. Ice shards exploded around them, leaving a mist of frozen fragments in their wake. Thor gritted his teeth, the weight of his duty heavy upon him. He felt the storm within him roar, urging him onward. He would not let the darkness overwhelm them. With a mighty heave, he lifted Anjolier high, calling forth the very essence of thunder. "Let the heavens answer," he shouted, unleashing a torrent of lightning that arced across the battlefield. The sky split open, illuminating the icy expanse in a blinding flash. Giants fell, their monstrous forms collapsing beneath the weight of Thor's wrath. Yet amid the chaos, the chill deeper than the ice itself began to settle in Thor's heart. He could sense the whispers of betrayal, the echoes of a greater conflict hidden behind the veil of the battle. The ice giants were not merely fighting for survival, they were guarding something that would change the fate of the realms. With this thought clinging to him, Thor fought on, his strikes growing more desperate as the giants pressed in. "What do you guard so fiercely, Thrym?" Thor roared, challenging the king. "What lies within this fortress that you would kill for?" Thrym's laughter echoed, cold and mocking. "You seek answers. Thunderer, the heart of ice holds the key to the world's destruction. You will learn soon enough, but first, you will learn the bitterness of defeat." With a flick of his wrist, Thrym summoned a blizzard, swirling snow and ice that wrapped around the battlefield like a suffocating shroud. Visibility plummeted, and a chilling wind howled, carrying icy shards that cut through flesh and bone. "Hold the line," Sif shouted, her voice barely audible above the tempest. But even as they fought, the blizzard began to take its toll. Warriors felt their cries swallowed by the tempest. "Together!" Thor called out, rallying the remaining forces. "Together, we are stronger than the cold." He focused on Sif, their eyes locking in silent understanding. With a nod, they raised their weapons high, channeling the power of the storm that surged between them. As they struck down the nearest giants, the winds began to shift. But the battle was far from over. The blizzard howled with the voices of the fallen, and as Thor swung Mjolnir, he felt the weight of destiny upon him. He needed to know what Thrym was hiding. He needed to end this madness. With renewed vigor, he pressed forward, but the relentless tide of ice giants threatened to engulf them. Just as despair began to settle within him, a sudden silence descended upon the battlefield, as if the very world held its breath. A figure emerged from the depths of the blizzard, an ethereal woman cloaked in shimmering frost, her eyes glowing like embers in the dark. It was Skadi, the goddess of winter and the hunt, with a presence that commanded both awe and fear. "Thor," she called, her voice a haunting melody that cut through the storm. "You tread dangerously close to the heart of ice. The balance of the realms is at stake, and Thrym seeks to unleash a power that even the gods cannot control. Then help us, Skadi," Thor implored, the raw urgency of his voice cutting through the frigid air. "Guide us. We cannot hold this line forever." Skadi regarded him with piercing intensity. "Your heart is noble, but the path is fraught with peril. Accept your fate, and you may yet prevail, but know this, sacrifice will be required." "I will do what must be done," Thor declared, the weight of his destiny evident in every word. He felt the storm within him raging, fighting against the encroaching darkness. "Lead us to victory, and I will face whatever price must be paid." With a nod, Skadi summoned a whirlwind around them, a howling wind shifting into a protective barrier that shielded Thor and his warriors. "You will need strength for what lies ahead. The heart of the ice is guarded by Thrym's most fearsome creation. Prepare yourself." As the storm calmed, the battlefield transformed into a landscape of glistening frost and echoing silence. The remaining ice giants watched with weary eyes, realizing that the tides had turned. "Enough!" Thrym's voice roared, raw fury radiating from the king. "You dare defile my realm with your presence. You will all perish beneath the weight of my wrath." With an outstretched hand, he summoned a monstrous beast, a colossal wolf of ice, its eyes glowing with a malevolent hunger. The creature let out a howl that shook the very foundations of the glacier, frost spilling from its maw like the breath of death itself. "Prepare yourself," Skadi urged, her voice urgent. "This beast is the guardian of the heart of ice. Defeat it, and the path to Thrym will be opened." Thor's heart raced as he squared his stance, Mjolnir crackling with energy. "Then let us end this," he shouted, charging forward, the storm within him swelling to a crescendo. The wolf lunged, teeth bared and frost-coated fangs glistening like knives. With a mighty leap, Thor swung Mjolnir, colliding with the beast in a blinding flash. The impact sent shockwaves through the air, freezing the surrounding snow, but the creature was undeterred, its icy body reforming with every blow. Strike true! Sif yelled, slashing at the beast's legs, while the remaining warriors joined in, their blades glinting like stars in the dark. Thor felt the energy of the storm surging, a thunderous roar building within him. He needed to channel it to focus on the very essence of battle itself. The wolf snarled, lunging once again, but this time Thor was ready. As it leapt, he sidestepped, raising Mjolnir high, and called forth a bolt of lightning that arced through the heavens, striking the creature with a blinding flash. The wolf howled in agony, the immense power coursing through it, causing it to freeze in place for a heartbeat. Nah! Sif shouted, and together they struck as one, their weapons piercing the beast's icy hide. It collapsed, shattering into countless shards, leaving behind a chilling silence. Thor stood amidst the remnants of the battle, heart pounding, realizing the gravity of their victory. He felt the winds of fate shifting, but a new challenge awaited. Onward, he commanded, turning to face the looming figure of Thrym, whose fury now threatened to engulf them all. We have come too far to turn back. As they advanced, the path opened before them, and the essence of destiny whispered in the winds. Hash 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 Part 3 The King as Fury. The wind howled ominously across the ice expanse as Thor and his warriors surged forward, hearts pounding with the weight of destiny. They had conquered the beast, a triumph that radiated through their spirits, yet the spectre of Thrym loomed larger than ever. The frost giant king, draped in shadows and fury, awaited them, his presence a freezing malevolence that chilled the very air. Prepare yourselves, sir. Thor shouted, steeling his resolve. We face Thrym, and this battle shall determine the fate of Asgard. The warriors, emboldened by the victory over the colossal wolf, gripped their weapons tighter, their eyes reflecting the fiery determination ignited within them. Sif stood at Thor's side, her gaze unwavering, a fierce warrior ready to face whatever lay ahead. Together, we shall carve our path through the storm, she affirmed, her voice like a clarion call against the encroaching dark. As they approached the heart of the glacier, a chilling fog enveloped them, the landscape morphing into a frozen wasteland. Glacial spires jutted from the ground like the fangs of a slumbering beast, and the very ground groaned beneath their feet, a reminder of the ancient power that resided within. Do you feel it, Thor? Sif whispered, her brow furrowed in concentration. The air is thick with malice. Yes, Thor replied, his voice steady though his heart raced. Thrym seeks to harness the darkness that could consume the realms. We must be prepared. The cavernous chamber they entered bore the scars of a long-fought battle. Remnants of the ice giants war against the gods scattered across the floor. Jagged ice stalactites hung from the ceiling, glinting like daggers in the dim light. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and writhing, as if the very essence of the glacier sought to reclaim its lost power. Face me, Thor. Thrym's voice bellowed from the darkness, a thunderous echo that reverberated through the cavern. You dare breach my fortress. I shall enjoy watching you fall. I will not cower before you, Thrym. Thor roared, his words igniting the air around him. You will face the storm of Asgard. With that declaration, thunder boomed overhead, a harbinger of the fierce battle to come. The frost giants began to emerge from the shadows, their massive forms a terrifying tide of ice and fury. They closed in, forming a wall of glacial might, their eyes glistening with malevolence. You think you can defeat me? Thrym laughed, his voice a cruel melody. I hold the heart of ice, I command the fury of winter itself. As he spoke, the air around the cavern crackled with energy. Thrym raised his arms, summoning a blizzard that engulfed the chamber. Snow swirled violently, creating a tempest that threatened to tear the very fabric of the sanctuary apart. The biting cold clawed at Thor's skin, but he stood firm, the warmth of battle igniting his spirit. Form ranks, she shouted, rallying his warriors to create a barrier against the encroaching storm. Sif to my side. Sif moved quickly, a sword raised high, reflecting the feeble light that fought against the darkness. Together, Thor, we will push through this blizzard. The icy winds howled, carrying the cries of the fallen as the ice giants surged forward, their massive fists swinging like battering rams. Thor leapt into the fray, Mjolnir alight with divine energy. He struck down the first giant, the hammer colliding with a resounding boom, echoing through the cavern as the creature crumpled beneath the force. Fear nothing, he cried, charging into the heart of the chaos. We fight for honor, for Asgard, for all realms. Sif struck alongside him, her blade slicing through the air and finding its mark within the icy flesh of their enemies. The two fought as one, a tempest of thunder and fury, unyielding against the tide of darkness that sought to consume them. But Thrym was relentless. You cannot hope to win, he bellowed, and with a wave of his hand, the blizzard intensified, a ferocious cyclone that swallowed them whole. The ice shards cut through the air like arrows, and Thor gritted his teeth against the biting cold. Hold the line, he shouted, determination radiating from him as he summoned a burst of lightning. It arced above, illuminating the cavern in a brilliant flash, and the ice giants faltered, momentarily blinded by the brilliance. Nap! Sif shouted, and they surged forward, cutting through the disoriented ranks of foes. Each blow from Mjolnir sent shockwaves through the glacier, but the fearsome tide of giants was unrelenting. More will come, warned one of Thor's warriors, panting heavily. We've slain many, but there are countless more. Then we must end this, Thor declared, feeling the storm within him swell, a call to arms echoing in his very spirit. Thrym must be stopped. As if reading his thoughts, Thrym's laughter echoed once more. You think you can conquer me? Very well, then, join your fallen brothers in the depths of despair. With another gesture, he summoned a colossal icy wall that surged upwards, nearly blocking the exit they had just fought to enter. The wall began to close in around them, sealing them within the icy tomb. Form ranks, Thor commanded. We fight together, or we die alone. There is no surrender. As the icy wall loomed closer, Thor felt the power of Mjolnir surge through him. He focused intently, gathering the storm's fury, roaring from the essence of thunder that flowed like a river in his veins. Embrace the storm, my brothers and sisters, he yelled, raising Mjolnir high. Let it guide us, let it become our strength. With a deafening roar, Thor hurled Mjolnir toward the wall of ice. The hammer soared through the air, trailing lightning in its wake, before smashing against the frozen barrier. The impact was cataclysmic, a dazzling explosion of light and sound that shattered the icy confines. The wall crumbled, sending shards flying like meteorites, and Thor charged through the chaos, his heart pounding with the ferocity of battle. Sif followed close behind, his spirit burning bright in the storm's heart. Onward! Thor cried, the words a rallying cry amidst the blizzard. To Thrym. They pressed forward, fighting through the remnants of the ice giants, who reeled from the force of the thunderous explosion. We will not falter, Sif shouted, her resolve unyielding. As they breached the final barrier, Thrym stood before them, a mountain of fury and ice. His eyes blazed with anger, and the air crackled with malevolence. You dare defy me? Thrym spat, his voice like the roar of an avalanche. I shall make you pay dearly for your insolence. Thor planted his feet, feeling the storm rage within him. You will answer for your crimes. Thrym, no longer shall your darkness suffocate the realms. With that, he charged forward, Mjolnir crackling with thunderous energy, the storm erupting around him like a tempest unleashed. The ground shook beneath his feet, and the very essence of lightning danced in the air. Thrym met him with a colossal fist, a punch that could shatter stone. But Thor was ready, his instincts honed through countless battles. He ducked beneath the blow, countering with a powerful swing of Mjolnir that struck Thrym's side with a resounding boom. The frost giant staggered, eyes wide with shock. You cannot defeat me, he roared, rage twisting his features. The heart of ice is mine. But Thor pressed on, undeterred. Your heart is as cold as the realm you command, but I will melt it down. You shall know the warmth of justice. With each strike, Thor summoned the storm's fury, unleashing waves of energy that coursed through the cavern, reverberating against the walls. The battle raged, a clash of titans, and thunder echoed through the realm. Sif joined the fray, her sword dancing through the air, a whirlwind of steel against ice. Together, Thor, we can end this nightmare. Together. Thor roared, feeling their combined strength surge like a storm tide. As they fought, the chaos around them transformed into a symphony of thunder. Mjolnir struck true, sending Thrym reeling, but the ice giant was no mere brute. He retaliated, summoning shards of ice that rained down upon them like daggers. Watch out! Sif shouted, dodging to the side as a shard embedded itself in the ground where she stood moments before. Face me, coward! Thor yelled, drawing Thrym's attention, every fiber of his being ignited with fury. With a primal roar, Thrym summoned a massive wave of frost, an avalanche of ice that surged toward them like a tidal wave. Thor felt the chill seep deep into his bones, the darkness threatening to engulf him, but he stood firm, summoning the hash part for the icy heart. Face me, coward! Thor bellowed, his voice echoing through the cavern as he drew upon the storm within him, the raw energy of thunder crackling in a vibrant dance around Mjolnir. The chilling winds howled fiercely, clawing at the very essence of the Aesir, threatening to drown them in despair, but Thor's resolve burned brighter than the fiercest blizzard. Thrym, the towering king of the ice giants, stood before him, a mountain of fury and ice. His presence loomed like a dark cloud filled with malice, and his eyes glinted with a tempestuous fire that promised destruction. "You think you can conquer me, Thunderer?" he sneered, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. "You know nothing of the depths of my power." With a fierce roar, Thrym unleashed a colossal wave of frost that surged toward Thor and his warriors, a towering wall of ice that threatened to bury them alive. "Stand strong," he commanded, the words cutting through the chaos like lightning itself. Sif and the remaining warriors fell into formation, hearts united in a single purpose: defiance against the encouraging cold. "Together!" Sif shouted, her voice fierce and unwavering, even as the overwhelming wave approached. "We shall not perish here, for Asgard." As the icy torrent crashed upon them, Thor concentrated, channeling the tempest within. He felt the raw power of thunder coursing through him, a reminder of his birthright, a legacy forged in the fires of Valhalla. Mjolnir, he roared, raising the hammer high, gathering the violent energy of the storm. "Let the heavens bear witness." With a titanic swing, he hurled Mjolnir forward, summoning a bolt of lightning that arced through the air, colliding with the wave of frost in a blinding explosion. The impact shattered the ice, sending shards flying like shooting stars, scattering the crushing force and illuminating the cavern in a brilliant flash. "Ah!" Thor commanded, charging into the chaos that erupted from the shattered wave. Sif followed closely, her sword glinting as she struck down an ice giant that surged in their direction. Together, they were a whirlwind of thunder and steel, cutting through the remnants of the frigid assault. "Keep pressing forward. We must reach Thrym," Thor shouted, determination etched into every line of his face. The cacophony of battle roared around them, the cries of warriors mingling with the chilling laughter of the ice giants. But they fought as one, a tempest of fury against the frozen tide. "Your strength is impressive, Thunderer," Thrym taunted, his icy form towering above the battlefield, his voice dripping with contempt. "But you are nothing against the heart of ice. It will consume you all. Your heart is as cold as the realm you command." Thor roared back, the storm raging around him. "I will melt it down. You shall know the warmth of justice." With each strike of Mjolnir, Thor felt the storm awaken, the essence of lightning flaring in a dazzling dance. The very air crackled as he unleashed a torrent of power upon the remnants of the ice giants, felling them one by one. But still they pressed forward, their ranks unyielding, the cold lessening only momentarily in the wake of Thor's wrath. "Here they come!" Sif shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We must hold the line." The ice giants surged forward like a fierce tide, their massive fists swinging, intent on crushing the god and his warriors. Thor felt the weight of their numbers, but the storm within him roared louder, urging him onward. He sidestepped a massive fist, countering with a powerful swing of Mjolnir that sent the nearest giant crashing to the ground. "Strike true!" Sif urged, her blade a silver flash as she danced through the fray, cutting down foes with the grace of a goddess. But the icy tide was relentless, and Thor could feel fatigue seeping into his bones. The battle stretched on, and yet for every giant fell, two more emerged, their laughter echoing like a death knell. "Hold fast," Thor bellowed, gathering his warriors around him. "We are the storm against the winter, we shall not falter." His battle cry ignited their spirits, and together they charged forward, an unyielding force against the oppressive cold. But Thrym, observing the fray, unleashed a furious howl that echoed throughout the cavern, summoning a new wave of ice giants from the shadows. "You think you can defeat me in my own domain? I shall show you how the heart of ice can bring even the mightiest to their knees." With a wave of his hand, a blizzard erupted, the winds howling with the voices of the fallen. Snow whipped around them like a living thing, obscuring vision and distorting perception. Thor felt the icy tendrils wrap around him, chilling his very soul, but he refused to yield. Together, he cried again, raising Mjolnir high to summon the storm's fury. "We will push through this blizzard." The warriors rallied around him, forming a protective circle against the raging storm. With a fierce swing, Thor unleashed a burst of lightning that illuminated the darkness, sending shockwaves through the blizzard and scattering the minions of Thrym. "Now!" Sif shouted, and they surged forward, striking down the disoriented giants with renewed vigor. Each blow from Mjolnir resonated through the glacier, a symphony of thunder and fury that echoed against the icy walls. But Thrym was undeterred. "You are nothing," he bellowed, summoning a swirling vortex of frost around him. "You will all be buried beneath the weight of your own failure." The blizzard intensified, snow and ice swirling violently around Thor and Sif, threatening to consume them whole. "Stay close!" Thor barked, his voice straining against the howling winds. "We push forward, no matter the cost." As they pressed deeper into the fray, Thrym's icy laughter echoed ominously, sending chills down their spines. You dare challenge me? The heart of this fortress is mine. You cannot fathom the power it holds. But Thor remained resolute, the storm within him raging. I do not fear the darkness, nor the chill of your heart. We fight for Asgard and the realms beyond. With each clash, the intensity of the battle surged, waves of ice crashing against the solid determination of Thor and his warriors. The ice giants fell, but continued to pour forth, the numbers overwhelming, a relentless tide threatening to drown them in despair. Watch your flank, Sif shouted, dodging to the side as a massive fist aimed for Thor. He seized it, countering with a swing of Mjolnir that sent the offending giant crashing to the ground. But the tide was beginning to shift against them, the frost giant's numbers overwhelming, pressing in from all sides. Thor could feel despair creeping into his heart, an unwelcome guest that threatened to take root. Stay strong, Sif urged, her voice cutting through the chaos. We have come too far to surrender now. Just as hope seemed to falter, a blinding light erupted from Thor's hammer, illuminating the darkness of the glacier. Feel the storm, he roared, unleashing a torrent of thunder that engulfed the cavern, scattering the ice giants and sending them reeling. Push forward, he commanded, a fire igniting within him, fueled by purpose and a resounding sense of duty. For Asgard, for every realm that thrives in the light. With renewed fervor, they surged deeper into the heart of the glacier, the storm swelling around them, a living entity that responded to Thor's every call. The air crackled with energy, the battle becoming a fierce dance of thunder and ice, like clashing against darkness. And then, amidst the chaos, they sought a pulsating light at the center of Thrym's icy fortress, a heart of blue radiance swelling with unknown power. Thor felt a magnetic pull toward it, an instinct that urged him onward. That must be the heart of ice, he shouted, determination igniting every fiber of his being. Stand firm, Sif shouted, redirecting their focus. We must reach it. That is the key to ending this war. As they pushed through the chaos, the ice giants became frantic, realizing the threat to their king's power. Thor and Sif fought as one, a tempest of fury cutting through the frozen ranks. They struck down foe after foe, the battle becoming a blur of motion and sound. But Thrym was waiting, his fury boiling over. You shall not reach it. He raised his hands, summoning a blizzard so powerful it threatened to tear the very fabric of reality asunder. You will freeze within my grasp. You will all perish. With a primal roar, he unleashed the storm upon them, the winds howling and ice shards slicing through the air like knives. Thor felt the cold seep into his bones, the despair tightening around his heart. But he wouldn't yield. He couldn't yield. Together, he cried, rallying the remaining warriors around him. We are the storm, we will rise against the darkness. As the blizzard raged, Thor raised Mjolnir high, summoning the stormess,